March is quite possibly the most exciting month of this whole year. So much change in the stars, so much change being reflected here on Earth. We are in eclipse season. We have 2 eclipses this month, a lunar eclipse followed by a solar eclipse. Sandwiched right in between is the vernal equinox, happening on March 20th. This video today, I am focusing on the first eclipse happening on March 13th or 14th, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome everyone, welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Vivía and this is my channel, Your Soul's Well, where I use astrology to help us navigate our shifting and exciting and sometimes turbulent world. First, I would like to give a really big thank you for everybody who has joined my channel. I'm so happy that you're all here with me. Thank you for everybody who has liked my videos, who have commented, who have book sessions. It all is helping me so much and I'm so grateful. I'm so honored to be here speaking to you on these topics in this most auspicious and important time on our earth, on our spiritually accelerated path. Do you feel that? I really feel that. I really love being here with you. I'm learning so much. I hope my videos are getting better. And so thank you again. I would like to remind everyone that I am trying to build my presence here. So if you like my work, please subscribe to my channel, hit the thumbs up and like, leave a comment for me, and please share it out. If even just every one of you shared it out to one friend, it would help my channel grow so much, and I would be deeply appreciative of that. The comments, the likes, subscribing, all of it helps so much, and I appreciate everybody that is here with me. I will first be breaking down the generalities of the lunar eclipse in Virgo, and then I'm going to go into the all signs. It will be timestamped, so you can skip right to your sign, but make sure that you watch the first part to get an overview of the energy and what will be happening. So the lunar eclipse is happening on March 13th at 11:55 p.m. on the West Coast, Pacific time. So adjust for your time zone, obviously. And it's happening at 23 degrees and 57 minutes of Virgo. So almost 24 degrees. You will want to find this in your chart. Remember that lunar eclipses are full moons. Full moons are points that have come to culminations and are fully visible, things that are reaching their peak and can go no further. So symbolically, this is also what it represents in our lives, wherever this is showing up in our charts, that this is something that is coming to its peak point, its culmination, and will be quite visible in our lives. In terms of the eclipse, think in terms of a real amplification of energy. I mean, full moons already are such a interesting energy. A lot always happens. We know that more crime is committed. Emergency rooms are more filled. There are just more incidences of crazy all over the world when we have a full moon. Now, with a lunar eclipse, the energy is being really amplified and maximized. That will bring just more of this kind of chaotic energy or just more visibility or more to be seen and more to be recognized. Now, this full moon does happen. The Saturn chart is conjunct the sun. So Saturn is in what is called combustion. It's coming up to the sun, and then it will come into a 1 degree orb and come into cazimi with the sun, and then metaphorically be reborn. So this is happening as well here in the chart. And Uranus and Taurus is forming a sextile to the sun and Saturn in Pisces, while also forming a trine to the moon. So it's being very well aspected by Uranus, which is the planet that in the Zodiac represents uncertainty, unpredictability, being blindsided, something coming at us that we just didn't see coming. So there are these elements happening in this chart. Currently, Venus is retrograde in Aries at 7 degrees and 44 minutes, and Mercury is just about to go retrograde as well. Mercury goes retrograde the next day at 11:46 p.m. Friday, March 14th. So shortly after that, so these planets are all really involved here in this eclipse. And if you watch my previous video, I had been highlighting the 0 degrees Aries, and our next eclipse will be a solar eclipse in Aries. Lots being set off here, and all of this energy. A lunar eclipse deals with endings and things closing and things finalized, things just being cleared away or even cleansed out of our lives. So the themes here are about releasing and letting go. It's right there with the South Node, which is another indicator of needing to let go in the Virgo area of your life. Releasing old habits, patterns, people, situations, anything that no longer serves. Because remember, we're all evolving into our higher form and hopefully onto a higher timeline for humanity. And what that requires, it requires us to let go of anything that is no longer working for us in order for us to make room for the new, to let in the newness of what we are becoming. Since the lunar eclipse is happening in Virgo, we look at themes regarding Virgo. The Virgo Pisces axis is all about health and toxicity, and Virgo particularly focuses on our health, and it focuses on what we are able to digest. And obviously, very physically within our own bodies, it rules the digestive system, our nervous system, but it also is about what we can metaphorically and symbolically and spiritually digest, and needing to let go of all of that is impeding us and making us spiritually sick. So, taking a look at our health habits, our physical health habits, our spiritual health habits, taking a look at how we can shift these habits to make, because this really is the year with the nodes being, the South Node being in Virgo, to look at our health and adjust to the changes of energy that we're all feeling and the changes across the world that we are feeling and within our own personal lives, of how we can better ourselves through our health, through better habits that support our longevity and support embracing healthier lifestyles. So this is what it's going to come down to for a lot of people. Virgo also deals with details and analysis and perfectionism and looking at what is not working in order to implement strategies and things that do work. Virgo is very much about that. And so for many people, there's going to be a need to let go of perfectionism. And again, it's going to depend on where it falls in your chart. A need to let go of over-analyzing or being over-critical that will be illuminated in the chart during the cycle. This will require people to really look at their own thought patterns, really look at their own internal processes, look at maybe what's eating them away, and address those issues and address the broken record, if you will, old ideas or thoughts about yourself. They're just now ready to let go, and this is really good energy for that. And as I say in many of my videos, it's really important for us to use these time periods when the universe is giving us this energy to really help us clear out the old, to really help declutter. This Virgonian energy is really useful for that, to really help us cleanse, to maximize these times and use them to our benefit. So this very much is about just cleansing out all that old, all that no longer serves, especially if you are a person that repeats information in the head about being perfect, and being really overly critical with self. This is just perfect energy to clear all that out. Because Virgo can often relate to the sense of perfectionism in terms of what is the correct way of doing things, what is the right way. And because this energy is asking us to release these attitudes, if we have them, it will help facilitate a lessening of anxiety and a lessening of this kind of neurotic behavior. And that, again, is something that we need to just hone into and capitalize on while the energy is here and really supporting change. So definitely in our own lives, we will notice new chapters opening for health, but also around themes of spirituality, whatever that's a very broad category that can encompass so much, but it could just be it could be time spent alone. It could be time spent in meditation or contemplation. For some people, that's prayer. For some people, that may involve a religion, and for others, that may be a connection to nature. However, for you is the right way to connect with your own divinity. This is a time that is really allowing for yourself to grow, because the sun is there in Pisces, and Pisces opposite house, and Pisces is the sign that most represents spirituality, that most represents this connection to the divine, to solitude, to contemplation, and the sun is here illuminating this area of your chart. And now Saturn is here too. Saturn will, at the time of the eclipse, is not as strong, but then it is going to come into a conjunction with the sun, and then it will as well. And this conjunction creates what is known as a synodic cycle. It will be Saturn's synodic cycle with the sun, where it passes through the sun, basically, metaphorically, is being reborn. And then we will see new patterns too with Saturn emerge. Now, in my opinion, Saturn is going to be giving us this added push to really establish routines around our health, around our spirituality, and as opposed to this eclipse, to as well our health, and taking a look at those habits and what we can do there. Mercury is the dispositor of the energy in Virgo, as Mercury is the natural ruler of the house of Virgo. And since it's going retrograde a day after, and it's already in its shadow period, then this is indicative of this eclipse being one that we will re-look at things in our lives. Again, where this Virgo eclipse falls in your own house, you will be going over things, you will be reassessing them, you will be reviewing them. All the REs, all the Res, right? Maybe revamping areas of your life. All of it is to assess if it really belongs in your life. Does this really belong in your life? Is this something that you really want moving forward? This energy of this year, particularly this month, there's so much change before us. So many things are changing in the world around us and within our own lives. And there's so much potential here for deep growth and for expansion in this year, and laying the foundation years to come. And so it's really important to take assessment of what it is, what your thoughts are, what your beliefs are, what your possessions are, friends that you have, the colleagues, the work that you do, your money, everything. And again, it's going to depend on yourself, your own chart, where this lies in your chart, but everything right now is up for this reassessment and this review. Remember, Venus is also retrograde, and she'll be coming back into that Piscean house where the Sun and Saturn currently is, and Mercury will also come back to that point, coming into contact again with a new moon on February 27th happened at 9 degrees of Pisces. That really opened up the eclipse portal for all of us. So Mercury retrograde, revisiting, rethinking, and reworking. The moon being in Virgo and Saturn opposing it in Pisces, there's going to be this tension and polarity, right, between the very serious-minded Saturn and the emotional and fluctuating nature of the moon. This opposition can bring a sense of seriousness, responsibility, and a need for structure around the themes of release. So again, taking a look at what we can do in our everyday lives to help us release all that is no longer working in order to put into place structure and habits that serve us on our path moving forward. Eclipses always occur in cycles, and approximately every 18 and a half years, they occur in the same places chart. So if you look back about 18 and a half years, the eclipses were occurring in this part of your chart, and look back the things that were occurring then, what was happening in your life then, that could give you a clue as to some of the themes that you will be exploring with this eclipse cycle. Virgo also deals very much with service and with work. And for many people, there may be a release around service. Maybe certain things that we are giving our time and our attention to are no longer in our best interest to do. And we will see them now fade away from our lives. This will be true for many people. For many people, it could be work. It could be transitioning of work that no longer serves. It may be a time period where there are job losses. That's not necessarily going to be for everyone. Again, it has to really show up in your chart. But I also want to emphasize always that if something is ending in a person's life, it just means that there's something better out there for you on the horizon. It may take readjustment and maybe learning new skills or going on a brand new path, but it doesn't need to be the end of the world. It's an end of a cycle. And remember, the cycles overlap. As one cycle is ending, another one is beginning. And to always remain optimistic, I always would like to point that out in my readings as well, because change is just a part of being alive to Earth. We must change, we must embrace the new, and we must release the old. Eclipses very much deal with karmic cycles and things that are fated for us, things that we must be willing to release or bring into our lives in order to step up into the being that we have come to become, part of our own spiritual evolutionary process. It is about illumination and revelation because the moon is completely being illuminated by the sun, the luminary, right, in the zodiac, that brings things to life, vitalizes whatever area it's in. So in this process, it will bring clarity to things, and it will be undeniable that certain to end. Could lead to sudden eureka moments, comprehending something that you were unable to see before. And through the Virgo lens can make these revelations very detail orientated, very practical, and maybe a bit critical. Just remember, however, that this is clearing away space for the newness that is going to be reborn here. And since it is in Virgo, it's asking us to look at these Virgo traits and ask ourselves how much of these we really need in our lives. It will call for a release of negatively imbalanced criticism, perfectionism, especially self-criticism, excessive analysis, workaholism, and also controlling, needing to control situations. It will require a surrender and a release of any of, if they are in excess or in balance. This eclipse, Virgo and Pisces are going to be the most affected because that is the axis that this eclipse is happening on. So if you have Sun, Lunar Rising, and Virgo or Pisces, this applies, but you could also have other planets in Virgo or Pisces that this connects with. So watch for that, watch for stelliums, or watch for planets that are in conjunction to the sun or the moon at this time. Also, always remember that the closer your planets or your ascendant or your points, because maybe it's falling on a descendant or another, or the MC or the IC, the closer your point is to this, the more impact it's going to be. So if it's right on it, it's going to be so impactful, so powerful, it's going to be so visible in your life. And the farther away it is, the less impact it will have. So if we take this to be 24 degrees of Virgo, then anything at 24 degrees of Virgo or 24 degrees of Pisces is going to be really impacted. If we add on 3 degrees either way is going to be from about 21 degrees of Virgo or Pisces till about 27 degrees of Virgo or Pisces. If we take about 5 degrees, that'll put us about 19 degrees of Virgo or Pisces, or up to about 29, almost going into the next sign. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That's kind of the range of orb that you're working with. You can extend it out more 10 degrees, but that's kind of getting wide. It still is symbolic of change in that area wherever it's showing up in your chart. But again, it's not necessarily going to be that impactful or noticeable. So just keep that in mind as we go along. As well, with these charts, I have changed the time. Like I've moved the time forward or backward to put the ascendant at the correct place. So the moon might not show up at the 23 degrees and 57 minutes, but just know it is, and just refer to the inside dial here of the chart because that's where I've placed the time and the date of the eclipse, as well as the degree of it as well. So refer to that if you're confused. Don't look, because I'm changing it to match the ascendant, okay? When I look at this energy, I think also too of walking in between the world. Those who walk between the worlds, that's what I see during this portal, during the eclipses that are coming and the ones that have finished off. I'm going to read the Chandra symbol from the book Inside Degrees by Elias Lonsdale. Because we round up, I'm going to be reading for the 24 degrees of Virgo. It is a silver trident. Psychically in tune with the collective and assigned the task of maintaining a vigil of collective awareness. You are sent to outposts to stay tuned and partake in the universal communications network, singularly devoid of self-drive, sacrificial incarnation, immensely far removed from the usual territory of the mind. You have been granted the opportunity to serve and to suffer, exquisitely sensitized, brilliantly astute, and seeking and searching for ways for everybody to reconnect. Solitude, seclusion, stillness, wishing and yearning for the world to be at peace, and for people to understand each other. You contribute constructively, consecrated, mystical, and right there on the inside of life, you wait timelessly for all good things to come in their season. That's just really beautiful. I love it. There's so many things about this that really resonate. For me, do they resonate for you, beloved? Leave me a comment below and let me know what you think. First, the world peace and harmony. So many people on the earth just long for this and can't comprehend why this is not a possibility in the day and age that we are in. And I know that I am one of many that pray and meditate regularly for peace on earth and for all humans to be at a place of, if we cannot be perhaps in harmony, maybe it's more of a collective agreement to coexist without all the war, all the violence. They certainly want to see all of the children taken care of. That would be wonderful, right? And that certainly is something that is on the Virgo and Pisces axis of this spirituality and being of service and how we can service humanity. Another point here about the last line, wait timelessly for all good things to come to their season. That is very Earth, isn't it? Earth is not in any rush, and I mean Earth, our planet, but also the element of Earth is the slowest moving because it's so patient. It doesn't have the same time limits or time constraints, that it operates under a completely different sense of timing than any of the other elements. And there's a lot of wisdom in having the intrinsic knowing that something will only come about when it's the right time for it, when it's the right season. Earth knows this, Creator knows this. It's us humans that try to push things into existence before they're really ready to be born, ready to take shape. That Saturn, that Saturnian influence that's opposing the moon is also a reflection of this sense of timing. The timing needs to be perfect. The seed is not going to grow any sooner than it's ready to grow. And that we are the ones who have to surrender to the divine timing. We are the ones that have to release when something will happen and giving it up to the greater good so that it happens at perfectly the aligned moment when Great Spirit, the universe, source, whatever you would like to call it, is ready for this to manifest for us. Now to the all signs breakdown, starting with Virgo, because the eclipse is happening in your sign, Virgo. Now, Virgo, your sign here, the eclipse obviously is happening in your first house, and the closer your ascendant or your sun, like I said, your moon, or other planets are to this 24 degrees, the more impact. So Virgo, this is highlighting for you themes of self and other, since it's in your first house of self and seventh house of other. This is going to bring about perhaps in your identity, in yourself, how you present yourself, perhaps how you style yourself or dress. Maybe it's your own thought system, right? And things that your own thought system, your own things that you believe about yourself. Maybe you're making room now for somebody else in your life. Maybe you have less focus on self, and that is what is being cleansed away, and more focus on the other. So that's what I see. Major change is just self-identity, your physical being, your physical body, that is the first house, your overall being changed. Lots of change there for you, Virgo. There will be a focus for you, Virgo, on releasing self-doubt, self-criticizing, over-analyzing, control issues or tendencies to control, and really deepening into the other, really deepening into vulnerability and trust in the other. Perhaps new relationships will emerge for you, or a deepening bond of an existing relationship. That may also happen. So Virgo, with the eclipse lunar eclipse being in your first house, there's going to be spotlight placed on you. So it's all things you, all things about you, also how you show up in the world and how others perceive you. So there's going to be a cleansing here and a decluttering around self, maybe the mind and how you think about yourself, how you perceive yourself, the things that you think or feel about yourself. So this represents a powerful and significant change and easing away from certain patterns and habits. So as it starts to change this for you, you really will be urged to let go of all those the criticisms, the judgments, the nagging away of the mind, the patterns that repeat. As you're shedding your old skin, some of you may want to improve your appearance and change the way you look. If any of you are thinking about any type of cosmetic surgery, I would not recommend doing that. However, during Venus retrograde, it's time to look into those things, and especially with Mercury retrograde as well, it's a time to start to investigate and research who's out there to do it. But wait till these planets, particularly Venus, is in direct motion and even out of her shadow, which will not happen until the end of April this year, but it's worth the wait. I would recommend just waiting. It's never a good time to do any type of cosmetic surgery with Venus in retrograde. But some of you will be considering this. This eclipse will be impacting us for 6 months moving out, right? For you, there is just going to be a lot of focus on relationship for you and themes around partnership coming up for you. Currently, Mercury and Venus are both retrograde in your 8th house, your 8th house of other people's resources. So maybe reevaluating and reassessing your partner's income and how that affects you. And this is a revisionary period where things are shifting here in this house for you. But then they'll both move into your 7th house. And again, revisiting relationships, seeing if it's working, seeing what needs to be adjusted or readjusted, what needs to be changed, reevaluating relationship and how that applies to you, yourself, and how you identify. Venus also rules your 2nd house of income. So maybe reassessing again that balance between 2nd house of earned income and your 8th house of other people's resources and investment income, residual income. So something's going to be going on there for you as well during this time period. Saturn is there with the sun in your 7th house. So for some of you, this could be indication of a very serious and long-term committed relationship. So if there's new relationships about ending or a deepening of relationship, ending stuff to do with self and self-identity, whatever emphasis is here in the 7th house does show promise of a long-term and committed serious relationship. I think this is going to be a good time for you. It will be a time where you focus on your health, you focus on getting clear about who you are and increase self-awareness. There's really going to be a rebirth of yourself, a personal transformation. And it is a time of powerful personal change for you. So Virgo, just be open to this change, be open to communication, embracing the need to let go, letting go of control and the critical mind that plays over and over, and practicing self-compassion. Okay, Virgo? Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. Thanks for being here, beloved Virgo. Libra. Beloved Libra, this lunar eclipse is happening on your 12th and 6th house. What this means for you, there will be significant new chapters relating to your spirituality, to health, and to work. There's going to be an importance placed on mental well-being and avoiding overdoing it when helping others or even with work. So when a lunar eclipse is happening here in your 12th house, Libra, this is just bringing the spotlight and this culmination of energy here to your house of dreams at night, your subconscious, your ancestral lineage, your ancestral patterns. This is the house of spirit. So maybe spiritual help coming in from the unseen, invisible forces. And it's really highlighting your subconscious mind as well. So this is a really ideal time to pay attention to your dreams. If you don't already dream journal, I always recommend that people dream journal. There's so much information to pay attention to our dreams, to take notice of what symbols are coming up, what messages are coming up, what is spirit trying to communicate to us, because this will happen a lot for you during this time and over the next 6 months. And some people say even a year out from an eclipse. Granted, it's going to be stronger going into the eclipse and about a week into it, around the time of it for sure, and then a week after, because this is your natural 6th house of Virgo and in your 12th house here of the subconscious. And this is the axis that's being triggered. There's lots going to happen for you between your mental, your mind, your conscious mind and your subconscious mind really being polarized. And there's that Saturn there too in opposition to it, bringing an even more polarizing element to it of rationalism and realism. So trying to bring some type of structure, maybe even to your dream time and how you can organize that. Maybe start writing out some of your dreams in the morning that might be very beneficial to you during this time. So this is very much the mind body axis of being very aware of what's happening in your mind. And maybe that's something that's coming out in your dreams and showing you there too. So pay attention to your subconscious tendencies, try to catch them, try to catch your critical thoughts or your negative beliefs or your self-doubt. Try to catch anytime you're trying to over control a situation, maybe at work or in your everyday life as well, because that's where the sun is sitting right now. And also your self-sabotaging patterns. Those will be coming up, and this is what is being illuminated to look at. So remember, the 6th house where the sun currently is about your health routines, your everyday routines, your habits. It could involve pets, it could involve employees, or if you are an employee, or your work colleagues, or your work life or situation or environment. So the sun is here with Saturn, so it's illuminating something here for you that you need to see, and potentially something could be ending here for you also in this area, something being illuminated, perhaps that needs to leave. Mostly this eclipse, I see it bringing a focus to your subconscious patternings, your dreams, your intuition, your psychic vision, your third eye opening up. I could see that for many of you. And for some of you, some karmic debt that you need to heal and restore and renew. So that will be happening. Remember that eclipses are karmic in nature and bring up these karmic things that we need to work on. This very much for you is a connection to the divine, so do pay attention, dear beloved Libra. But this is definitely a balance and a tension between your house of everyday habits and work and your house of isolation. That's what the 12th house is. So with the eclipse happening there in your 12th house, maybe you might need to, for those of you who tend to self-isolate a lot, if you do, you might, if you have planets there, especially in the 12th house, this could be a period of time where this is ending in order for you to spend more time in your personal life, perhaps with other people, perhaps with colleagues, or just in your day-to-day life. And that could be an indication. Just watch for that. Watch for again, self-sabotage, and you may be self-sabotaging by isolating. So just watch for these themes coming. But again, it's just going to be about releasing those self-defeating tendencies and just really looking at them to make your life better, to make the life that you want for yourself, the life that is of your dreams, that 12th house. Bringing those into the real everyday reality, the physically lived reality of the 6th house. You have Mercury and Venus in your 7th house retrograde, and they will be moving back into your 6th house of work. So something happening for you there with relationships. So maybe revisiting and reevaluating relationships, which ones work for you, which ones don't, which ones you want to carry forward. And perhaps by the end of that cycle, when both of those planets are in direct motion and moving back into the house of the 7th, you will have greater clarity. And then when they move into the 6th, again, it's just going to re-emphasize what this lunar eclipse is bringing to you, just a reassessment of your everyday health habits, your work habits, which ones are working for you and which ones need to be shed away and be cleansed. Saturn for you is there in your 6th house. So if there's any type of constraint or restraint, it's going to be there in your 6th house, but also offering structure again, structure to your daily habits and your routines that you really need to set a foundation for. This for you is going to be a foundational year for you for setting up really good health practices and habits that really support you. And again, some of them in a previous video, I dealt with this in a previous video, and this is going to be for many of you, setting up a spiritual everyday practices. And whatever that means, spirituality could be taking a walk in the park every day and connecting with the divine through nature. And for some of you, it could be incorporating yoga or meditation into your daily life. It's going to be different for every single person. and you will know what that is as you explore this house in more depth. Uranus is in your 8th house, trining the moon here in your 12th, and Uranus is also sextiling the sun and Saturn in your 5th. So that's a nice benevolent triangle. And so remember that Uranus can bring unexpected change or sudden events, although the energy is supportive. So it's supporting something being cleared away for you here, dealing with these themes that deal with the 12th and the 6th house. So I see this as positive energy, although it might be sudden, something suddenly happening. But it is your 8th house of other people's resources and investments, and also your subconscious as well. It's more it's your psychological house. It's a very deep house as well, just like the 12th house, very much about your own inner psychology. So something I think will come through for you, Libra, being able to help you see things about yourself and patterns and that subconscious patterns or psychological tendencies that perhaps you were not aware of before, that will help you in your personal relationships and will help you with release and surrender during this period. I think for you, this is going to be a time where you really need to prioritize self-care, making sure you get enough sleep. Now, around the time of the eclipse, that might be really difficult, but hopefully it doesn't last long and you can catch up on sleep if you do lose any. But yes, prioritizing your health, taking really good care, seeking additional resources like some holistic health or holistic remedies. I always appreciate those. If you appreciate them too, this might be a time period to do that. And obviously communicating honestly in relationships is going to help you because these planets are here in your 7th house moving retrograde, planets of relational planet of Venus and communicative planet of Mercury. So to practice mindfulness and introspection during is going to be beneficial for you as well, Libra. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. All right, beloved Libra, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Scorpio, beloved Scorpio, the eclipse is happening in your 11th house of groups, organizations, friendships, networks, online communities of all sorts, and any networks that you belong to. And the axis is the 11th and your 5th house. The sun is in your 5th house. Now, this could show a potential release from friendships, group dynamic, or even your long-held goals and aspirations. So for you, Scorpio, this spotlight and this culmination is here in this 11th house about the groups that you associate with, the networks that you belong to, these long-held dreams of yours, your long-term goals. So there's the shedding and the cleansing energy for you are going to be within these themes. So maybe letting go of friendships that no longer serve or are no longer fulfill you in the way that they did, and that no longer, or networks or groups of people. But it also could be some type of, if you work online, it could be something to do with your online work or some type of money. This is the higher house of money as well. So some ending here for some of you. In regard to this also represents the house of crypto. So for some of you who are interested in crypto and dabble in crypto, this could be cleansing some of that out for you, ending some of that for you. But remember, if anything is ending, whether it's our friendships or something that we belong to, some investment that we've made, if it is some type of crypto investment or something financially coming in through this house for us, it's just because there's more on the horizon for us that wants to open up, that's more aligned to the vision of who we are now, because we change and grow. And so should our friend groups and our networks and our associations and what we invest our money and our time into. This could be for some of you about relationship dynamics and that shifting and ending to it. It doesn't necessarily have to be an ending of of friends or a whole group. It could just be dynamics within the group shifting and certain things ending. And again, hopefully ending for the better and hopefully ending for a higher resolution and outcome for all involved. The sun, however, is in your 5th house. That is all about joy and your self-expression, your creativity, your house of children, romance, adventure, all found here. And speculation and gambling found here, risk-taking, entrepreneurship, all in this 5th house. The sun is here along with Saturn. So something also being highlighted here, something to look at, and that is where the polarity is happening. That stretch there in your chart is happening right here in your 5th house. So again, something being highlighted here around those themes and something to look at here. So perhaps endings in the 11th house, spending less time with perhaps certain groups of people or less time online, for example. Those could be some examples of how this could play out. And more times with an intimate person in your life, a romance partner, or perhaps children. That could be how this plays out as well. And since Saturn is there in your fifth house, right alongside of the sun, for some of you, this could turn into, if it is a new relationship blooming, if it is a new relationship, a new romance, or a dating situation, this for some of you could turn out to be a long-term committed relationship. So Mercury is the dispositor, as I said already, of the energy here in your 11th house, and Mercury is currently in your 6th house of work and everyday habits, work environment, pets as well. And it's moving retrograde alongside with Venus moving retrograde currently in your 6th house. So it's reevaluating and revising and reviewing here your everyday habit. Then it'll be moving back into your 5th house, again, bringing these elements of revision and reevaluation, all things regarding your 5th house, all things regarding those themes that I mentioned. It could be a romantic partner, it could be children, it could be creative endeavors, or something entrepreneurial. So these things are going to come up in this time period, and it's good to sit with them and see what's coming up for you, because then later when they move back, Mercury and Venus, through your 5th up into your 6th, if you can just sit and with the information and process the information coming up, you'll have a clearer idea of what these planets are trying to communicate to you and what they're representing to you, and what you can bring forth for your health, for structure also, and for your health and your everyday habits, and your everyday work. So that's what's happening there. So Uranus is in your 8th house, trining the eclipse in your 11th, and sextiling the Sun and Saturn in your 5th. This is considered quite benevolent energy. However, remember that Uranus can be very sudden and chaotic. I do see it removing obstacles, perhaps to whatever you're trying to create here through your access of your 5th and 11th house. Again, it could be higher money and your creativity, removing obstacles around this, removing obstacles in your dating life or in your romance or with children, as well as with the eclipse there, the lunar eclipse there, with connecting the lunar eclipse in connection to Uranus there in your 11th house. It could be, again, sudden changes in some of the networks that you belong to, or online activities, or your higher house of money and finances through that lens as well. So just be aware of that. It's not going to show up the same for everybody. Remember that it's really dependent on your own chart as well, and if your own planets or other points are aspecting this as well. So for you, Scorpio, this is going to be a time to really clarify your intentions with your communities and the people that you associate with through that 11th house, and your associations with that 11th house. In this time period, try taking clarity on which friendships, which networks that you belong to, if there are any finances coming through for you through this house, and any of these themes in this house that are not really supporting you, that are very draining perhaps. In this time period, you will be urged to release them in favor of more supportive and nurturing relationships, friendships, and financial investments. All in all, I think this eclipse for you is going to really help you really align with your true goals and desires. That is this 11th house. It will help you identify which pursuits feed your inner fire, which relationships also stoke it and make you come alive, and just bring more happiness and satisfaction to your life, and help guide you away from any type of energy draining engagements that you currently have. It will be a time to take new directions in your goals. Again, goals that support the path, your higher path that you want to grow into and evolve into, and the being that you see, the person that you see yourself as. So invite in those notable shifts in your goals and your dreams, your desires, and your friendships and your network, and try as much as possible to surrender to and trust this process of release that's being offered you. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. All right, beloved Scorpio, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you in some way. Sagittarius, this eclipse is happening in your 10th house of your public recognition, your status, your career. This is your house of legacy as well, what you are known for in the world. Many of you do not necessarily have careers, but it's still what you are known for in the world. So something here is being illuminated for you, and a chapter chapter ending for you. For some of you, it could be an ending of a career or just a new chapter starting up. Just expect shifts here in this part of your life. Again, how you were viewed publicly, your career, your public recognition. This is also your life's work, your ambitions, your vocations are all found here in your public status, all found here in this house. So the releasing, the letting go, the eclipsing is happening in 10th house. So massive shifts around your career, your purpose, what you view your purpose as, how you were aligned to your purpose, how you identify with your purpose, what you think your purpose is. So this will be a revelation that will prompt a turning point for you on the path that you are going and what you view as your purpose here on this earth at this time. So this could potentially lead to a completely different career change, completely different path opening up. For many of you, it will open up a new path. And for many of you, you may feel no longer aligned with the work that you were doing in the world or how you were showing up. For many of you, it does indicate a time of potentially significant professional change of direction, or perhaps your public life. For some of you, it might be a change or a transformation in authority figures around you or your boss's life. For those of you who have that hierarchy in your career, which will also in turn affect your career or profession. This ending or closure for many of you might end up being something ending a profession, perhaps getting fired for some of you, willingly leaving a job for others, and retiring for it. So remember too that the sun is there in your 4th house of family, of home, of stability, of inner security, and the sun, and they're polarized to one another, right? During full moon, during this eclipse. So there's going to be a polarization and a tug of war almost between your very visible public life, things ending in that very public 10th house and drawing more back to that very grounded, rooted home life house of the 4th. So that could happen for some of you, this urge to be at home or to put down roots. For some of you, it might even indicate moving. And it definitely will require a balance between career demands or your public life, the demands of your public life and your home life and family responsibilities, especially with Saturn here conjuncting your sun in your 4th house. There could be restrictions or some conflict here between these two houses. You will have to adjust for that. And then with Venus and Mercury currently are in your 5th house, they will be retrograding back into your 4th. And at this point in time, you will really be reassessing and reviewing what your home life is about, what you want for your home life, what your familial responsibilities mean to you, how you want to show up for your family. And that plays a really big part in all of this and something to really consider during this time period. During this time period, many of you will find that you do really need to balance out your professional life with your family life. Again, there will be a call to that 4th home, being there. And it could also be too about your emotional security. This is where that very important foundation that all of us need is found in the chart. So maybe for many of you, you just don't want to be very public anymore, and you just would rather just be more of a homebody, just laying low and doing your thing at home where you love to be. I think this is going to be especially true for many of you because the North Node is there in your 4th house until the end of July of next year. So just an emphasis of home and that inner security really being played out during this eclipse. Remember that this 10th house of yours, the dispositor of this energy is Mercury, which is at the time in your 6th house, conjuncting Venus, almost ready to go retrograde. And then again, as it goes retrograde into that house, and with Saturn there with your sun, Saturn is always the reality check. It's just going to be just adding more emphasis on home life, family life, internal security, and how do you restructure this in a way that will work for you as you balance out these two houses, your very public life and your very private home. For you, Uranus for you is in your 6th house, trining the moon in your 10th and sextiling the sun and Saturn here in 4th. So again, benevolent energy, but Uranus can be sudden, right? It's very sudden, this planet, very unexpected, but you can see it as clearing something away, maybe in your professional life or home life, clearing things away so that you can manage this balance between your public life and your home life. So it can be very sudden, but just know that whatever it is clearing away If it's an ending that was very unexpected, just know that there's more there for you opening up, and that what is being cleared away is opening up the space that you need in order to grow and to flourish something new. I see many benefits out of this for many of you. It's just really clarity on your vision of what you want your public life to be, what you want your profession to be. For many of you, it's going to be a deeper soul alignment of purpose and what you are here for as you release old public image, career paths, professions, perhaps authority figures, to move on to a higher timeline for your evolution that really encompasses more of your true nature, of your core self, of your soul self, and helping you align with a path that really was to embrace and to be on in these coming times. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. Thank you, beloved Sagittarius. Thank you for listening. I hope that I've helped you. Capricorn, this solar eclipse is happening in your 9th house of higher learning and foreign travel, long distance travel, foreigners, spiritual beliefs, divine union, mentorship, all that is house. This is also the house of teaching, of publishing, of legalities, and one's world found this house. That's a lot of stuff in the house, right? So expect changes here to these matters. Any of those, all of those, for some of you perhaps, those busy Sagittarians, ending and karmic releases. Remember that these eclipses are very karmic in nature and bring about changes that have to be on our path for our soul's evolution and growth. So this eclipse might trigger for many of you a complete change in philosophy and world beliefs. And that could be kind of unsettling for some of you, very unexpected, right? But remember, it's all to open you up to a new belief system and a new experience of who your higher self really wants you to be and really wants you to embody. If it deals with your education and learning, some of you might be finishing studies that you have started. Some of them might be because Uranus is also involved. Remember, by trine, it could be an unexpected finishing up of studies, like something coming to a halt and not being able and having to move on. So that could also relate to like any courses, any mentors or mentoring programs that you are in. Just keep that in mind. But in terms of if it's in terms of travel and expansion, remember that it could be an ending to a visa or to a travel permit somewhere, or endings to plans that you had, plans not being able to be fulfilled, because this is where the ending is happening here. So the axis here for you is the 9th and 3rd house, and the 3rd house deals with communication. It deals with short distance travels, your immediate environment, your cousins, your siblings, your aunties and uncles. So your vehicle, even media can be found in this house here, especially old school media, particularly like print media. Writing, communication, blogging is in this house. So this house is being highlighted, and this is the balance that's the axis is between these two houses. So these themes of your broader perspectives are intertwined here with your 3rd house of daily communications and your immediate surroundings. So just keep that in mind, how that plays out and how that looks will be different for everybody. But it could be for some of you, trips not being fulfilled, long distance travel not fulfilled, or being ended, or even and having to be more in your local community more. That could be what's happening for some of you. For some of you, it could be if there are endings in higher education or some type of mentorship program. Again, coming back to your local communities, your local environments, and perhaps studying there or working there or just being there. That's the kind of shifts that could happen with the eclipse happening on this axis. Again, just remember that if anything is ending, especially if it is unexpected or sudden, because again, that could happen, it's because it's opening up what needs to be opened in you, in your life, for the newness that is being birthed for you to step onto a higher timeline, to embody a more authentic version of yourself on this path. So just try to keep that in mind if things are ending. Now, Mercury for you and Venus Mercury is a dispositor of your 9th house of Virgo, and Mercury currently is in the 4th house alongside of Venus. And Mercury is just about to go retrograde. So there's going to be a revisiting and a reevaluating of your 4th house themes. So your home, your foundation, family of origin, perhaps your mother, your inner security. And then as they cross over and go back into your 3rd house, those themes of the third house, communication, immediate environment, are going to come up again too for reassessment, as they also relate to that ninth house in opposition and where the moon in the lunar eclipse is happening. So these themes will come up for you to have clarity. And what these cycles suggest for you is that they're connected. Your family, your living situation, home, maybe property that you own, your immediate environment, well, that family of yours, perhaps siblings, cousins, your communication, right, are all connected here. And then again, facing that ninth house of foreign travels, foreign places, higher learning, your higher belief system, your higher mind, your belief system, your spirituality, right? And just bringing that all home and being able to utilize that some way to benefit yourself within your own immediate community and within your own family. Saturn is there with the sun, perhaps some type of reality check again around your immediate environment and this situation here of communication and all those themes that I've just mentioned. And also bringing some type of consistency or structure to perhaps how you have to communicate. For many of you, maybe you've gone off and traveled the world or learned things, and now you have to bring it back and communicate it somehow. Maybe for some of you, it's through a blog post. Maybe it's through some other sort of media. Maybe it's for that immediate environment that you were in. Some of your relations in that are found in that. And then with Uranus is in your fifth house, trining the moon there in your ninth and sextiling the sun and Saturn third. So it's benevolent energy, but remember that Uranus is very sudden and it can be very erratic, but it tends to clear away obstacles in our path that keep us from what we now need to embark upon. And for you, it's going to be here in your third house, again, of honing down on communication, communicating all of these new ideas or ideas that you have learned in the last while and bringing them home, like literally home to your immediate environment and to the people immediately around you. So perhaps also Uranus is clearing away some of the old beliefs that you no longer need, or that world vision that needs to be restructured. I can see quite a bit of benefit for you through this time period of just really releasing the old beliefs that no longer serve and are keeping you confined within a box, and really opening up that worldview for you. So just remember to continue to question your long held beliefs and assumptions and to allow in new information as these things are being cleared away for you, to align on your true path with pursuits that will be more fulfilling and more aligned with the true version of who you are becoming. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload. All right, beloved Capricorn, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you in some way. Aquarius, the lunar eclipse is happening in your 8th house of other people's resources, your house of psychology, and it's also a very occulted house. So something to do with any, like occulted, meaning things that are hidden away from view. So it could be mystical studies, it could be your own mind, it could things like the tarot, things that are just not in the public. So now when the lunar eclipse is happening here, something here is coming to a culmination and an ending. So it could be to do with somebody's an investment coming to an end, some residual income coming to an end, perhaps an ending to resources from a partner, things shifting here for sure. It could be also debts, taxes, mortgages, all those perhaps coming to an end for some of you. A long-standing problem with any of these issues could be coming to an end. Remember that this is a time of releasing and letting go, just surrendering to what is happening. So although it could be more of a difficult time, if it does involve finances or money, it just remember again that what is being released is opening something up for you that will be better on your path, more aligned to the soul work that you need to do now. This is on the axis of your eighth and your second house. So your second house has a lot to do with your own resources, how you resource yourself, what you value, your possessions. And that's where the sun is illuminating something here in this house for you to see as well. This axis in this 8th house, it's going to bring up issues of trust and honesty and relating and intimacy for you. And it could be leading up as well to a releasing of dynamics with this 8th house of the other person and resources, whomever that is. Maybe it's more than one person. It could be resources from a business partner, but also resources from a marriage partner, for example. So it's just shifting the dynamics here in these relationships that you have and the resources. And it's asking you to look more at your own, how you can create more income on your own and bring in your own income. It is leading to a breaking point and breakthrough for many of you in your own personal finances. So just know that. Saturn is there too with the sun conjuncting it. So again, bringing this needed reality check to your own money, perhaps how you spend money. For some of you, it might be that you're spending too much money and you need to now restrict that amount of spending and take a more serious tone with your own money, with your own earned money. And it's highlighting the balance of your own, again, your own earned money and the shared resources with that 8th house. This house is too also your own innate gifts and talents and what you take ownership over, your possessions. So it's having you look at all these things. It's having you reassess these things as well, especially since Venus and Mercury, at the time of the eclipse, are in your 3rd house of your immediate environment, communication, but they'll be retrograding back into your 2nd house, and they'll have you reassessing, reevaluating, revisiting all these themes, like what you own, how you make money, what you make your money on, what you value, your own innate gifts. So all of these things will be coming up. And as things are ending here in this 8th house, I imagine that a lot of you are going to want to reshuffle how you spend your money, what you buy, where you spend your money. And there's going to be a reassessment here of your value system around the things that you own. For many of you, I can see purging happening within your life of the things that you own. You'll have a churn and understand, and a churn and just be able to declutter. That Virgo is very much about precision and decluttering, not having so much, just being able to get rid of the excess. Remember, it is a mutable sign, and that Virgo just wants precision and it wants accuracy. And in terms of our own things and stuff, it very much applies to what we own, and having what we own be very specific to us and meaningful for us. And the things that are not meaningful anymore and that have outgrown us, or that we have outgrown, it's time to purge and to release and to surrender. So I can see that for some of you. Uranus is there in your 4th house, making a trine to the moon and sextiling Saturn and the sun. So Uranus is very sudden and erratic. It's hard to predict what will happen with Uranus, but something is going to be cleared away for you. This is oftentimes how Uranus operates, clearing something away between this house, your 8th house and your 2nd house, so that, again, to make room for more of perhaps your own resources coming in, perhaps a shift in your own value system, a shift in how you spend your money, and perhaps how you reflect on yourself in terms of your self-worth and your own innate skills. Many of you might have sudden awakenings to how creative you really are, or the innate inherent abilities within you of a skill set of talents, particularly of talents that perhaps you didn't even know were there. I can see this happening for many of you, this Uranian awake innate gifts that are dormant within you. I see this for many of you. So look forward to that. So the benefits for this, I see it very beneficial for you as a realignment to your true value and worth within you. Those innate gifts being born within you, transforming your limiting beliefs around who you are and how you can support yourself, greater self-reliance. I see this happening for many of you, which will in turn just snowball and create a greater self-respect and self-value.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
Okay, beloved Aquarius, thank you for listening. I hope that I've helped you in some way. Pisces, the lunar eclipse is happening in your 7th house of the other. So this house governs over many topics, all involving relationship, partnerships, business partnerships, marriages, legal contracts and agreements. It's both your personal and your professional business one-on-one contacts. It's the marketplace. If you are in business and have a marketplace where you sell wares, whatever they are, they could be digital products online, or it could be an actual physical storefront. It's that relationship. It could also be considered your house of clients or even close friends if they're in a one-on-one relationship, when you're dealing with them one-on-one. So with the lunar eclipse happening here, this is where the culmination point is, the illumination point is here, and the endings are here. Any karmic closures are happening here. So endings of cycles with any of those themes that I just mentioned may happen for some of you. For some of you, it might be truths being revealed in partnerships or relationships or business dealings or contracts that were not visible before. Remember, the full moon, very illuminating light. Just look at it symbolically, how it shines in the night and shines on our path and lights the path. And it can bring major changes to these relationships that are found here in the 7th house. For many of you, you might be facing a choice of whether to stay and work things out with that other in this house, or to let go and to walk away. And for some of you, it might feel too draining to stay in the relationship, and you may choose to end the relationship. For others, it could just be a shifting of the relationship, perhaps ending to certain dynamics in the relationship. And again, it could be very broadly, all those relationships that I mentioned could apply here. It doesn't have to be necessarily a marriage or an intimate relationship that way. It could be a business partnership or something to do professionally. So remember that the polarity here between the sun and the moon is happening between your 1st and your 7th house. So the first house is all about yourself, your identity, how you show up in the world, how other people see you, how you dress, it has very much to do with your physical body. And the sun is here and Saturn is here. So these are this polarizing element here, and Saturn coming in, and Saturn is always the reality check. So bringing something into, I guess, greater focus as it comes up to the sun. Mind you, it's currently during the eclipse combust, but then it will, like I said in the introduction, be born through the cycle, the synodic cycle of the sun. That's all happening there in your 1st house. So something committing to self in a greater way. This is what I see for you happening here with this Saturn cycle here in your 1st house. Perhaps committing to yourself on a deeper level, to stay true to yourself, to stay true to your path, to stay committed to taking care of yourself and taking care of all of your needs, not just your physical needs as the 1st house represents, but the emotional needs, particularly if there are some struggles or dynamics with another that needs to be closed off, if that chapter needs to end, for moving on to a higher path that is more stable, that helps you really connect more deeply with your own true self, your core self, that can expand again on a higher timeline, because the eclipses are always karmic, and the karmic destined points are what propel us forward, often in a very exaggerated or quickened way on our path for our highest evolution. So take all that into consideration. So this is a time of releasing and surrendering and letting go of what no longer serves. And so it's in that 7th house of relationships. So looking at all the relationships that are no longer serving, maybe ones that are draining or too troublesome, or just not the right relationship anymore, or just time to let go. And just remember too that whatever is closing off, whatever cycles are ending, that new cycles are also beginning, and newness is also coming into your life. So there will also be a rebirth process here as well, and rebirthing of newness coming in as well. All right. So things will not be taken away that are not meant to be taken away. Relationships are not going to end that are not meant to end, only those that are destined to, if they are going to at all. For many, because this is Virgo, and Virgo deals very much with details and perfectionism. For many, this is going to be an ending of needing looking at relationships through that Virgonian lens of perfectionism or detail or criticism. Now, it could be the other criticizing you, or it could be you criticizing the other. It's going to, again, show up in varied ways. It will depend on yourself, your own chart, and how it's aspected. But just know that what is ending here is more of the critical element and the need to control. Mercury is the dispositor of this energy here in your 7th house of Virgo, and it's going to turn retrograde. It's here conjunct Venus in your 2nd house. So as they move retrograde through your 2nd and then your first house, you're going to be re-evaluating and revisiting, reviewing your values. Your self-esteem and your self-worth are found in this house. And as they relate to the others, there are, for some of you, a lot of criticism from the other, maybe controlling elements to a relationship. And then as those move into your first house, again, that reevaluation and revisiting of themes involving your first house of self and identity. And then they'll move back through your first house into your second house. And I think by then you'll have a very clear understanding of what it is you truly value in yourself, in your own talents and abilities and what you bring to the table, and in the other and what you want in partnership and relationship. And from there, you can really establish a new path forward in relationship. Like I said, some may fall away and some now there's going to be an ending to dynamics and then that you can come back into relationship on a deeper and more vulnerable place. So Pisces, what is being illuminated for you is real clarity in relationship on what you need in relationship in order to really thrive and be at your best. Remember that whatever's falling away is meant to fall away and not to try to hold on to it. It needs to be surrendered to. Because you are releasing unhealthy dynamics and patterns that are no longer serving you, in order to connect with a more authentic version of self, a stronger, more aligned version of self, that you have more self-respect and that you value of yourself, more value for self, right? Uranus for you is in your third house, trining the moon in your seventh and sextiling the sun and Saturn in your first. So again, it's unexpected, sometimes chaotic change, but it's clearing the obstacles away for you to get to healthier dynamics in relationship and a true sense of value of yourself. So keep that in mind as some things are falling away. For some of you, it will be ending to relationships. And for some of you, it will be ending to parts of the relationship that don't work, leading to a more fulfilled relationship with deeper connections and bonds. Will be more satisfying.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
Okay, my beloved Pisces, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Aries, the eclipse for you is happening in your sixth house of work, of habits, of health habits, work habits, employees, colleagues at work, your work environment, also pets. So this is bringing an illumination, culmination, and potential ending to any of those topics that I've just mentioned. So for some of you, you're going to be challenged to invent new health regimes for yourself that can keep you on a very healthy path. For some of you, it will be ending to how you schedule out your daily tasks in your work. For some of you, it might actually be a job ending. Unfortunately, for some of you, it could be an ending to a life of a beloved pet. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to happen, certainly not all of that. It really depends on your own chart and where this is in your own chart, but you're going to have to, most of you will really have to take a look at your health habits and how you're showing up. This is also the house of service, so maybe something ending here in how you are servicing other people or humanity, perhaps. In terms of work and productivity, this eclipse signifies a change to your everyday work habits. It could invite in significant release around your work or your health or your productivity. So be on the watch for that. Remember just to surrender to what is coming up. For some of you, you might be clearing space in your schedule to make for a healthier lifestyle. So whatever that looks like to you, whether it's incorporating certain health habits and health regimes in your day-to-day life to keep you on track with your health. For some of you, it could involve your work, your actual daily work that you do. It could involve creating a new schedule or habits that are more in line with the energy that is coming up. And for many, it's going to be a release of working too much, workaholism. That'll be for many. And just a more of an ease and a flow of the daily schedule, letting go of the criticism, the self-criticism, the negative self-talk about this area of your life. For some of you, it could be that you are no longer aligned with certain coworkers or employer, and you're moving away from this and ending this chapter of your life, because this is the house of health and it is your Virgonian health. It's very much about your own nervous system. So especially for those of you who do experience anxiety or have too much work on your plate, or you're overly stressed, you're going to want to really look at addressing these, because this is going to come up for review, and it might come up in a very blatant way. The last thing any of us want is to get ill from not paying attention to the signs that are being shown to us of needing to slow down, needing to reflect more, needing to restructure our lives so that they support, they're more conducive towards our health and our long-term longevity. You will need to recognize when you're doing too much and it's becoming unhealthy for you and it's stressing you, taxing you, whether that's in your day-to-day life or a job that you have, or in service that you give in any way. It could be a volunteer position. It does not have to be paid work. It could be a position where you are volunteering your efforts and overexerting yourself at the cost of your own mental well-being and physical health, or even emotional health. That could play into this as well. So you're going to want to look at all of those routines that you employ on a daily basis and look to see which ones are really helping you maintain a healthy lifestyle and which ones are distracting you from it or creating tension that is not necessary, leading to breakdown. Now, remember too that this is on the axis of your 12th and 6th house. The sun is here in your 12th house. Alongside it is Saturn. Now, the 12th house is all about the subconscious, a very hidden house. It deals with the spirit world and our ancestry and everything invisible. Now, because the sun is here and Saturn is here, it's asking you to look at your subconscious tendencies. And again, that this is a very spiritual aspect, particularly for you, because this is your Piscean house, and Pisces is a very spiritual sign. So on one hand, you have your mental health being highlighted with the eclipse, the moon there in your 6th house of Virgo. And on the other, you have your subconscious mind being highlighted with the sun there. So a lot of themes coming up that need to be addressed. So the patterns and the long held beliefs that are held under the surface, under our radar, away from our conscious mind might start coming up. And maybe through your dreams, this is the house of dreams. So pay attention to your dreams, your night dreams, or even your daydreams, that things that you can envision during the day. Pay attention to the spirit world, especially since Neptune is here, and pay attention to the whisperings of the spiritual world, the intuition, gut feeling, and anything that is coming to you. However, spirit speaks with you. Spirit speaks with all of us in different ways. You know your way. So just pay attention to what's being shown to you. Take that information and use it to your best good. Uranus is in your 2nd house, making a trine to the moon in your 6th and sextiling the sun and Saturn in your 12th. So again, I just want to, because it's a sextile to your 12th house, I want to emphasize for you how prominent your dreams might be, right? Or your psychic ability and just information just coming through, just downloads, just instant knowing of information coming to you in regard to your health, in regard to your psychism, your spirituality. So just pay attention. Now, as far as the connection to the moon is going, again, it could be obstacles being removed so that you can encompass greater health and stay on a higher timeline and a higher path for that health. So again, it could be sun moving an obstacle. For some of you, it might be a job that you hate. Some of you, it might be in working with colleagues that really create anxiety for you. So remember, just eclipses are fated in nature, and they're going to just work on your highest timeline for your best evolution, and to surrender to what is being brought to you. There is a lot of supportive energy here for you to develop new habits in your daily life. Again, for that longevity and for the higher timeline of your evolution, person that you are growing into as we are in these fast changing times. And it's all about healing and surrendering, and that for that increased well-being. And as this clarity and direction, this is highlighting what needs to be adjusted in your daily life, know that you are opening to new ways of doing your work and relating on a day-to-day basis to your own health and vitality.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
Thank you, beloved Aries, for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Taurus, eclipse is happening in your 5th house of creativity, of entrepreneurial endeavors, of risk-taking, of romance and adventure, of your childlike inner child heart within. of your enthusiasm, and of your children. Now, so with eclipse, it does bring endings. It could be endings to any of these things, or a shifting in how you do these things. So dynamics with children perhaps shifting, dynamics with a love relation shifting, perhaps within a creative endeavor or some project that you have on the go. Know that there is just potential changes here happening for you. So for some of you, it could be endings to romantic relationships, and it might highlight how you show up in a dating environment, in a romantic situation, something for you to look at. It might also bring about an opportunity for you to address the standards that you have and expectations in love and romance. For many people, this is your house of Virgo, so maybe for some people it could be overexerting control or too much criticism or expecting perfection through your romantic endeavors. So just things that are going to be brought up and illuminated and shown to you. Now, this also could be about, if it deals with your children or parenthood, again, there could just be shifting here with these relationships. If you have young children still at home, it could be a problem that you need to address in how you are parenting, or something to do with one of your children. If they are adult children, again, it could illuminate something between you and this child and how you are relating, and something, again, that needs to shift, or a chapter ending. For some of you, it could be children leaving home and going off to live on their own, or going off to post-secondary school, colleges or university, or perhaps travel, or perhaps some of them getting married themselves or having their own children. Just an ending to the way that the relationship currently is. It doesn't necessarily mean an ending to the relationship. It's a new chapter open this relationship, and a closing of the old chapter. For those of you who are creative in nature, perhaps artists, and you don't even have to identify as an artist to be creative, but this is the house of creativity. So for many of you, something here needing adjustment, something that needs to be looked at. Perhaps it's how you are doing your art, or how the time that you spent on it or not spending on it. Something is shifting here for you in this house. It's going to illuminate this. It's also going to illuminate, because this is the house of joy and pleasure and the inner child. It's going to illuminate this and some kind of ending in how you relate to your creativity, your joy, and your pleasure. Now, keep in mind that this is on the axis of the 11th and the 5th house, with the sun being there in the 11th and shining something here for you as well. So it could be an ending to how you relate and do your own creativity on your own, and now needing to shift into that other house of higher groups and networks and your social setting, and maybe even doing it online for some of you, because this is the house naturally of Aquarius, and that is a very Aquarian thing to do things online. So that could be for some of you, maybe moving your work, your creative endeavors online. So this is where Saturn is here conjuncting the sun in this house. So bringing some type of necessary reality check. And again, it could be for some of you needing to grow more into group dynamics or networking. Your adventure now is more online, as opposed to it being more in that 5th house of your own individual creativity. You have Mercury and Venus in your 12th house. They're going to retrograde through that 12th house and then into your 11th house. So re-evaluating and revisiting and revising themes of these two houses, the 12th and the 11th. So the 12th is your subconscious, and it's the spiritual realm. So taking a look at what's coming up in your subconscious as it relates here to this eclipse and what it's showing you. And then they will retrograde back your 10th house into your 11th house, that group dynamics house. And you're going to be shown things again. You're going to need to reassess what these groups mean to you and what value they bring to you and what you can bring to them. So that will be happening here for you in this house. Uranus is in your 1st house, trining the moon in your 5th and sextiling the sun and Saturn in your 11th. So this is great energy. It's very harmonious. But Uranus is chaotic and brings sudden changes and sudden turnaround. But the beauty of it is it's going to clear something away out of that creative 5th house of yours and out of that 11th house. So being able to bring that creativity up to that 11th house of your networks and your friends and your groups. and your associations. So something being cleared away for a greater path. And that 11th house also is your higher house of money. So for those of you that can bring something up there to that house, these greater networks, a group of friends, or perhaps even online, that could bring a substantial money coming into this house, if that is going to work out. Again, depends a lot on yourself, on your own personal chart, how these are aspecting in your own chart. So I think for you, Taurus, this is going to be illuminating for you and bringing emphasis on greater social connections that will really help you. And if you can really step into them and just surrender and release what needs to be released and really step onto this path, it will really benefit you in the long run. These are the networks and the social connections that you need long term. And remember, Saturn is there in that house right now. It is the planet that reflects commitment and long-term associations. And that house is very much too about your goals and your aspirations, and Saturn there, and this happening, this is such an opportune time to capitalize on anything like this that you would like to put into place or move forward. I've only just given you a few examples. This is not meant to be a thorough breakthrough, but you just contemplate what you would like to bring to the world, to this higher house, this higher 11th house of your social networks, and how we can show up in service to the collective through that 11th house.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
Okay, my beloved Taurus, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Gemini, the lunar eclipse is happening in your 4th house of roots, your stability, your inner security, your house, your home, your property, family, your mother, your father sometimes, your parentage. So something is ending here for you in this area of your life. It could be around your sense of security. It could be around your living situation, around your own emotional needs. Many of you might be experiencing significant changes to your family life, to your home life. You might be moving homes. You might be changing properties or releasing properties. This is a release, remember. This is an ending, a culmination, something coming to an end with the lunar eclipse here in your 4th house. So something here is ending in any of those themes. For many of you, it could involve certain family relationships that you no longer want in your life, and you're putting an end to them. And this is showing you how much they are draining your energy or weighing you down, and that you are finished now with that. For some of you, it could just be changes to your family life. People, perhaps a child is leaving the home, or perhaps you are switching homes. It could be a relocation to a different home, moving to a new home or to a new property. Some of you might decide to sell your home and go traveling. That could be something that happens for many of you. But for many of you, this is to do with your inner security and your emotional needs. They're going to be highlighted, and a chapter ending here for you. You seeing something that perhaps you didn't see before and coming to terms with it and what you have to do to move forward on your path in a healthier, more emotionally stable way. This 4th house also represents your comfort and your security. So shifts to how you look at this comfort and security, really looking at and bringing up questions of what inner security and what comfort and what a home means to you. This might be coming up for many. So the eclipse is happening for you here on the axis of the 4th and the 10th. And the 10th house is your public recognition and your career. So with the sun there, something here is also being illuminated for you, and Saturn is here. So there might be some kind of restriction here, and it's polarizing to your 4th house. So something being shown here about that inner security and that foundational 4th house. Something that has to end, perhaps for your career to blossom. But Saturn is also there, and Saturn is a reality check wherever it is. So something that needs to be tweaked here in this 10th house in order for it to work in your best interest, for you to have that public recognition and visibility here in this 10th house. Now, Uranus is in your 12th house, trining the moon in your 4th and sextiling the sun and Saturn in your 10th. So Uranus, so this is benevolent and harmonious energy that really flows, but Uranus is chaotic and brings sudden changes, very unexpected dealings. And this is involving your 10th house as well as your 4th house. But Uranus can clear away blocks now, right? It might clear away a block, something impeding career or something within your home life and some type of security. For many, it might be buying a new property or a new home. Some of you have been trying to, and now an obstacle is suddenly removed and you can move now into buying that property that you want. And like I said, for others, it could involve something to do with your career. Now, also Venus and Mercury are here in your 11th house, and they will retrograde through the 11th house into your 10th. You'll be revisiting and reevaluating, looking at things that deal with both the 11th house of your groups and associations, as well as your 10th house of status and public recognition and career. So things will be coming up around that. And remember that Mercury also is the dispositor of your 4th Virgonian house. So it will really affect this 4th house of yours as it goes retrograde. And this will generally just be a time to release perfectionism and criticism and control over themes of home and property and issues dealing with even your own inner security. It's just better to go with the flow and to release and surrender, especially if it does deal with your family dynamics. Now, in all, I think this is going to clear space up for you in your home, in your foundation for self, leading you forward in your life, in your profession. And I can see a new chapter opening up for you, new beginnings in your home life or that very foundation. And definitely leading to improved home life and inner security that also can help you with how you show up in the world through that 10th house lens.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
All right, beloved Gemini, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Cancer, this eclipse is happening in your 3rd house of learning and studying and communication. It's of technology and exchange of information, of media, writing and reading. It's your house of your mind. It's also the house that deals with your siblings, your cousins, your relatives, like your aunties and your uncles. It's your house that deals with vehicles, short distance trips, your neighbors, your immediate environment. So it deals with a lot. Now, an eclipse, of course, is going to be bringing an end to certain things in this area of your life. It certainly is not going to necessarily affect all of these things, and it will also depend on your own personal chart and how it is aspected during this eclipse. You should expect significant changes with your own communication style, maybe your mental processes, maybe an ending to things. So for some of you, hopefully it's an ending to repeating critical thought of self and negative beliefs and the broken records, if you will, of the critical voice within. That would be great, wouldn't it? So for those of you who are mentally hard on yourselves, it could bring an ending to this type of behavior where you are so self-critical or expect perfectionism from self. This is the house of your local community and environment. So shifts in this area, perhaps endings to things here in this area. Any of those themes that I brought up for you could be ending. It could be ending if you had a short distance trip, if you're learning something in your environment or you're communicating in your immediate environment, things could be shifting here. It could be highlighting things within your relationships with your siblings or your cousins or your this very familial house of your aunties and your uncles. But it could also be your immediate environment and the people you see within your immediate environment, more like on a daily basis. So it could be shifting things in this area of your life. And some of these things might be coming to an end, and perhaps some of these relationships within this house coming to an end, coming to its culmination point where it's reached its maximum growth and has nowhere left to grow. Now remember that the 9th house is the opposing house, and this is where the axis is between this 9th and this 3rd. So the sun is here in the 9th house alongside Saturn. So something being illuminated here in the 9th house is your higher house of learning, higher education, your philosophy, your world viewpoint, your spirituality, long distance travel. So let's say you were used to doing a lot of short distance travel, maybe just with your vehicle. Maybe that's coming to an end for you. And now you're being propelled to now go explore the world more and broaden your worldview. So things like that might be happening for you. Saturn is there with the sun in this 9th house of yours. Saturn tends to bring this nudge of reality to us. So perhaps something that to be looked at here about any of those themes again, philosophy, your spirituality, your connection to the divine, right? Or higher learning, or maybe so something being put into perspective here for you. But if something is starting here in this house, like if the endings of the third house may be leading to beginnings, things being illuminated here and perhaps opening up in the ninth house. And if they do, with Saturn being there, these could be long-term or very committed or very serious things that you take on with Saturn being here. You may have major breakthroughs with your communication skills, with learning or studying or in a legal matter. You might need to refine your reading and writing skills and your speaking skills. This might be something that's being highlighted for you during this eclipse. But again, just something ending in your local environment and community, maybe a chapter closing, maybe it's how you show up in this community, maybe that is coming to a close so you can broaden more into that ninth house, a foreign community, of publications, of higher learning, of spirituality. So now Mercury is the dispositor of this energy here in your third house of Virgo, and it's in the 10th house conjunct Venus. It's about to go retrograde. They will retrograde through your 10th house and then into your ninth house, so that you will be revisiting and reevaluating themes to do with the 10th and the 11th house as this is happening. Your 10th is your public career and your image and how you're seen. And then it'll move into your ninth house, again, of all those themes that I just brought up. So these themes of the higher philosophy, world viewpoint, and travel. So some of you actually might be considering traveling abroad or going to study abroad or taking on some type of learning that really expands your belief and your viewpoint. And then you have Uranus in your 11th house, trining your moon in your third and sextiling the sun and Saturn in your ninth. And Uranus, this is really flow and benevolent, harmonious energy, but Uranus is chaotic and erratic and can bring sudden change. So again, sudden change to that immediate environment of yours in the third house, your immediate surroundings, siblings, cousins, perhaps, your communication style, as well as then to that ninth house of spirituality, of divine connection, of world viewpoint. So things really shifting here for you, but Uranus is also going to remove obstacles for you. So it will remove obstacles that keep you, for those of you who maybe have wanted to travel abroad, will be removing these obstacles or removing obstacles to higher education or a higher belief system or accessing divine higher. So I can see that in all as a really positive outcome for you. You will have increased clarity in those relationships with your siblings or cousins or that immediate family you're going to have, or your immediate surroundings. It's going to be just new information coming in here for you. And be prepared to just broaden your perspectives and your horizons. Just surrender to the changes that are happening. Embark on your new path and embody more of the soul that you are as you evolve on the higher timeline. It could also be a breakthrough of intellectual pursuits for you. So just keep that in mind too. And opportunity to learn through travel and higher education.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
Okay, beloved Cancer, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Leo, the lunar eclipse is happening in your second house of values and possessions and your innate talents and your own resources, the income that you produce. Now, remember that lunar eclipses are culmination points that bring things to their end, really, their maximum point of growth, and then their period of surrender and release. And things ending, things coming to that point and ending. So something ending here for you. It could be ending, maybe a job is ending for some of you, the way that you resource yourself, or an income stream is ending for you. Maybe something ending around your own value system or possessions. Some of you could decide to really start to declutter all of the things that you own. Maybe they no longer serve you, or you feel that you have outgrown them. I could see that happening for some of you. Just a general shift in your sense of self and your self-esteem and self-worth happening here. This is on your financial axis happening between your 8th and your 2nd house. So again, the 2nd house is how you resource yourself, and the 8th is other people's resources or other people's income from investment properties or investments in general, residual income. It could be money coming in through inheritances or taxes. It could be taxes, just taxes, or debt as well. But what is really being highlighted is your financial axis and shifts to this financial axis. I've already explained, for some of you, it could be changes in job and income coming in. But remember, if anything is being released or anything is ending right now, it's because more is opening up and it's clearing a path for you to step onto a higher timeline and to work that is more aligned with your soul purpose. This is the time that we live in. The times that we are living in is all about aligning to the frequency that best suits us, including the people that we are surrounded with, and the jobs that we take, and the money that we make, making sure it's really aligned to our soul purpose. Now, because this is so prominent in your chart, Leo, there's going to be a need to surrender to what is happening, because there will be significant changes, and really concerning your resources, your finances, and your security. And letting go could mean several things. Letting go of possessions. For some, it might be letting go of homes or property, again, cars or other people's resources. Again, it depends on your own chart and what that looks like in your chart. It certainly won't be applicable to everybody, but in general, Leo Risings will have this general theme of letting go and embracing more of a spiritual sense, like less possession of stuff and material possession, and more of encompassing of a spiritual beliefs, because that is your 8th house, and it is Pisces. It has more of a spiritual outlook. It is considered the most spiritual sign out of the Zodiac. So just surrendering to that and deepening in this is going to be necessary during this transit for you. So it will be a turning point of your reflection of money, reflecting of your understanding of money. And for many of you, it could be paying off debt as well. This eclipse will bring a greater understanding for many of you of your own self-worth, and will give you confidence beyond material success. And there may be situations, financial situations, where you will be called to release back to the universe because they no longer serve you and they no longer align with you and how you value yourself now, how you see yourself. For many of you, your innate gifts and talents will be brought into spotlight, and this focus will have you stepping into these talents and these gifts. For some of you, they may be really dormant. Things that you never knew are going to start to flourish in you. And what you want to do is capitalize on this moment and this time to really help them come out and to help them thrive so that they can become part of you. For some of you, these might develop into ways to make income for yourself. Because remember, as cycles are ending, cycles are also beginning. And since this is your 2nd house of your own internal resources and how you resource yourself, your earned income potential is here. This could possibly happen for some of you. It will be very transformative work for you, though, here in this 2nd house, because it deals with your inner security and your inner values, your value of self. But over in your 8th house, the sun is there in your 8th house, illuminating this part of your chart, investments you have, any resources from others that you have access to. It could be business partners, marriage partners. It could be investments you've made, residual income. And Saturn is here too. So something being spotlighted here, but also Saturn just bringing a reality check here. And maybe it's about for some of you, it could be debt again, or taxes that are coming due, and just really putting into perspective what needs to happen here for you really to step onto your greater path. And for many of you, it could be just really learning to access these resources. And for a short while Saturn is here, it could be a restriction of access to these resources or a time that is limited for them. Just keep that in mind. But Saturn will be moving out of this house shortly. It won't be there for much longer. It will move into your 9th house. Mercury is the dispositor of this lunar eclipse, and it's currently conjunct Venus in your 9th house. Mercury will shortly go retrograde, and it will retrograde through your 9th house and then into your 8th house. So it's going to bring up themes of both the 9th and the 8th house. So the 9th is higher learning, higher education, your belief system, your spirituality, your faith. And then your 8th is all the resources of the other. And it's also your hidden subconscious house too. It's a hidden psychological house too. So it's going to have you reevaluating and revisiting themes that are coming up for you, perhaps within your own psyche, how you deal with money, how you deal with your possessions, how you value yourself, how you value your partner's resources, and it'll have you addressing these issues before they move again direct through your 8th house again back into your 9th. So these themes will be coming up for reassessment, especially with Venus there. And then Uranus is in your 10th house here, trining your moon in your 2nd and sextiling the sun and Saturn in your 8th. So this is benevolent and harmonious energy that's flowing really well. But remember that Uranus can be chaotic, brings sudden change, very unexpected change. So, but it will clear something away on that axis of the 8th and 2nd house. So as it pertains to other people's resources in your 2nd house, this could be finding a way to access the resources of the other, or a way to access your own innate talents and abilities, perhaps things that were dormant, and bringing them to life to really put that out into the world, to procure for yourself some income. That could happen. But those are the houses that will be involved, and any number of things could happen. It just depends as well on your own chart and how it's being aspected. This time period of this lunar eclipse is going to bring about financial clarity for you regarding your financial stability, income, and your own personal resources. It is a time to redefine your budgeting or spending habits and potentially achieve financial restructuring that really is going to align and support you better on your path. Again, it could be a potential for new income streams. It also indicates a time for more increased financial independence. It really is a time to look at increasing your own financial security as earned through your own means, to that 2nd house. So it will involve releasing any scarcity mindset or any issues of lack of self-worth, self-esteem, and really deepening into an understanding of your own worth and your own value and what you bring, all your talents and your skill and what you have innately within you to bring to the world. And as you do this, you gain a deeper understanding of what truly gives you confidence and self-worth.
Be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss an upload.
Okay, my beloved Leo, thank you for watching. I hope that I've helped you. Stay blessed, beloved souls, and I will see you on the next video.